The Meddlesome Meeples present the Quest Report with Matt and Richard.
Welcome to the Quest Report, and we are going to talk about Role Player, which is a game we played it's a couple of weeks ago now, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a different take on the fantasy type game because we're not actually going on a quest. It's more that we are preparing to go on a quest. It's like they've made a game about every aspect of things now. So basically, it's
kind of like a Euro, isn't it, in itself, in the way you play it, but with the theme of like an Ameritrash sort of RPG game.
Ameritrash. Yeah, it's a little bit like if you're going to start a game like Baldur's Gate. No, what's the Baldur's? Yeah, it is Baldur's Gate. That kind of thing. And at the beginning, you kind of keep clicking to roll for different attributes to try and get the best ones. That's what this game is. You have a character. Well, you have this kind of character sheet type thing that will just have what species you are on it.
And it's double-sided, so one side's male, one side's female.
Yeah, so you can just pick which one you want. But then you will also get a class and a backstory, and they're random, aren't they? You get them dealt out.
That's how we did those. We dealt them out randomly. So you've got your class, which could be... I mean, they're all the class cards are double-sided as well. Yeah. So you could be like a barbarian warrior, or you could be a cleric, a ranger, a paladin... You know, a thief, any of those sort of things.
I think I was a human paladin when we did it, and so I quite like that. It kind of matched.
Yeah. And then the other things you get for your character to start off is a backstory, and you get an alignment, which is on a card, and you get an alignment card. Now, what all these do are effectively your abilities and how you are going to score points at the end of the game.
Yes.
Because your class card will give you like a particular dice that you are connected to. So for example, for a thief it's a black dice, for a barbarian it's a red dice. That means at the end of the game you're going to score points for having those dice on your character sheet. Dice of that colour.
I think that's a little bit.
And it also tells you which attributes you need to get certain scores for.
That's the thing.
And that's one of the key things in this game.
So that's what the object of it is, isn't it? Like make your character into like the best version of that class that you can.
Yeah.
And there's different attributes are more important to different ones, aren't they?
Yeah.
So you've
strength,
got the
dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. And some of them you have to get an exact score on 3 dice.
Yeah. Sometimes it's between a certain amount, but
So you spend a lot of time trying to manipulate your dice or move your dice around to get the right scores once you've placed them, which you can do by using different abilities. But your class will give you a special ability anyway. As well as that, you get a backstory. Now, we've just said that with the class cards, they give you the scores for your different attributes you're trying to go for. Mm-hmm. The class cards tell you which order your dice need to be in, which colours need to be on which row in which spot, and you have to kind of match those as well to get points. So that's another aspect to it.
That's just another way you can get points. So the first in order of importance is like getting your attributes right, but if you've got the right colour dice for them, that's even better because you get more points for that. And you get the backstory.
Your
then there's alignment, and that's the kind of chaotic evil or lawful good, that kind of classic kind of fantasy alignments that you get.
And they're labelled under things like scoundrel, arbiter, protector, hermit, all sorts of different things. But all in all, you end up with 4 different things that make your character. So I think first time I played this, because I've played this a couple of times now.
Yours was weird.
I was like a dragonkin noble monk, I think I was.
I remember you being something religious and you were like some kind of dragon monster.
Yeah. It was also a guardian or something like that. It was kind of like a really strange combination, but that's one of the things I love about this is when you start off you end up with like a really bizarre, it's like you kind of selected random on everything on a computer game. It's just really fun, and then that tells you what your objectives are going to be for the game, so that you're trying to manipulate the dice into the right positions and
I love it when a game uses a dice in a weird way. Like it's a bit like Alien Frontiers and also like Biblios. It's like you are rolling the dice on this game, but then you are kind of putting the dice in different places, and then like they're your numbers to do things with after that. And
on each round everyone gets to choose one of the dice that's available in front of them in turn order, don't they? So that's it's really interesting. It is I mean, you made a comment when we played this the first time.
I hope it was good.
Well, it was one I remembered.
That's right.
That you got all the fun of making a character, and then you kind of want to take that character on an adventure.
Yeah.
But the game's over.
Yeah, then the game's over at that point. So it might be good to use this to start a campaign or something on a different game.
Yeah, with a really weird campaign that would be.
Yeah,
but it would be a fun idea.
I think I said that quite early on when we were playing it, but I did enjoy this a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
I thought, well, this is like, it's like taking the least fun part of a quest, but then I kind of got it after a while. What we were actually doing was quite enjoyable actually. Yeah.
You also get points for scoring. You score points for having certain armor sets, certain weapons, which also give you abilities, can be worth points.
That was particularly
certain
good.
traits can give you points as well. So there's a few different aspects to this. But yeah, it's very much a Euro with an RPG theme. I've played this a few times. I've enjoyed it every time. I don't feel when I played it was worth the RRP that I paid for it, because I think I paid something like £55 for the game.
I wouldn't have guessed that price for this.
I don't. It feels like it's that must be maybe a £30
plastic
game
for the dice.
Yeah.
many dice.
There is, and I love this about it. You get a huge bag of dice, and the way the game works is on your at the turn, the person who's the starting player for that round will draw, however many dice there are for the number of players plus one.
Right.
Roll them and then put them on the initiative cards. So then you're choosing a dice and an initiative card together, and then everyone in turn gets to place that dice on their character sheet. And I love that part of the game. I love getting out a load of dice and rolling them.
Yeah, it is good.
And I love the fact that we've got all these different coloured dice, and a huge bag of dice is always good.
Yeah.
Same if you get a huge bag of meeples in a game like Five Tribes, and you're drawing them out and placing them. It's all good stuff.
Yeah.
But then you've got the market phase where everyone's buying cards, and I quite like the way that works, because you have, again, a number of players plus one as the amount of cards in the market, and then at the end of each round, whatever's not bought is gone. But there's always options, because if you can't afford to buy something from the market, you can scrap a card from the market and get gold.
Yeah, and some of the things that you're getting will be like traits and stuff, won't they, and like skills. And this is where your alignment comes in as well, because that's how you move the alignment. Like certain things, you might buy it might be good, it might help you, but it might move you towards evil.
Yeah.
And if
like
you're going for
good
characters, it can make you evil, and that might be the wrong way, so you'll end up with less points in the end. So I felt a bit like my character was doing stuff at that point. It's like, well, my character just went out and did a evil thing or a good thing, and so it did feel like they were actually, it didn't just feel like they were at home just getting their attributes.
I mean, it was, I would say, a fun game.
Yeah.
It's the right length, I think, because it finishes. You've only got a certain amount of rounds, because you've got to fill the dice, and once everyone places their last dice, and then you're going to be getting a dice at the same time, then it finishes automatically. So it's not a long game. Yeah. It's an easy game to learn. But you do have quite a number of options on your turn as to what am I going to do, which dice am I going to take, which initiative do I want, which card do I want to get from the market, which ability am I going to use, which trait skill I'm going to use, is
a good thing. The each attribute has a different ability, doesn't it, when you place a dice there, and that was hard to work out, I found. That's where the strategy comes in, because you think, well, I can put this one here and use the ability, but then I might want that ability in a bit, and I've used up all of my ones of that one, so I can never use that again.
Because once those three dice have been placed, then you've pretty much gone. But there are at least one of the classes, their ability is that when they place a dice, they can use any of those. So that's a very powerful advantage.
Yeah, you get different things.
One of the things that was interesting as well was with the attribute scores that are tallied up by the row of three dice. Each race has penalties and bonuses. So every race will have a +2 in one row and a -2 in another row, except for the humans, which get neither a bonus nor a penalty. So, but you've still got to take that into account when you're factoring in, where you're positioning your dice and everything. So that can make it more challenging to get the dice in the right order. So that's another aspect to the game. personally, I would recommend this, but I wouldn't recommend paying over £50 for it.
Get it second hand.
That's
our recommendation.
Yeah.
Go into this one.
Yeah. My copy is currently available on eBay. But I'm joking. No, I actually,
we probably will play this again at some point.
I would play this again, definitely. And I did enjoy it. I do think it's overpriced for what it is, but it is definitely an enjoyable game. So it depends on your value. I mean, you do get a huge number of dice. I think if you wanted to go out and buy a load of dice, it might be economical to buy the game and just have a ton of different coloured dice. But this is one that I enjoyed.
I enjoyed it as well. Yeah, like I said, I was a bit sceptical at first because, it seemed like it was too focused on the character building aspect. But yeah, once I kind of got into the strategy, I found it more immersive than I thought I would. So it is quite an interesting little game to play. If you like things that are in a fantasy setting, then it is very good. And I do quite enjoy that in a game. It's like I like sci-fi and fantasy for games. Obviously, normally I'm more into sci-fi, but I think that in a board game setting, fantasy is appropriate. So, when you're sitting around with these flagons of ale, it's great.
Yeah. And I do think, for me, I really like the randomness of it. I think that might really annoy some people that their class and their backstory and their race doesn't really make a lot of sense.
I love it when it doesn't make sense.
But I love it when it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's just because it's random, and then based on that, it's going to affect how I'm going to play. So I'm going to be constantly trying to do something different, and trying to get things into different positions, and I really enjoyed that. And right up until the last placement of the die, you're trying to figure out how best to organise your dice on your different columns and which attribute scores you're going to try and go for if you've not been able to get them all and everything. So it's not like it's an easy game in the sense of, oh well, I know exactly what I'm doing after the first round, and I'm just basically mechanically doing things in the game. You learn the rules very quickly, but after that you're thinking about how to maximise each turn. So it is interesting. The randomness makes it more replayable, in my opinion. I don't think I'd want to play this if I was actually going, oh right, well this class card goes with this backstory and it all makes perfect sense. The randomness of having like a noble dragon or a thief dragon or something like that appeals.
If you're picking it yourself, then
But yeah, this is an enjoyable game.
I enjoyed it.
And it's one I would recommend.
Farewell, Quester. To find out about other productions by the Meddlesome Meeples, then check out our channel or rendezvous with us at meddlesomemeeples.com. Until next time, Quester, farewell and keep thine axe sharp.